Mr. Obama is saying today that the economy is making a comeback.
He used today's stops in Ohio and right here in Pennsylvania to defend his administration's decision to prevent the complete collapse of corporations like General Motors and praising the Cash for Clunkers program. After his speech in Pittsburgh, the president made his way to Philadelphia to continue his tour.
It will be next to impossible to drive into town during the upcoming G20 summit. Heavy traffic restrictions were announced today. The plan will close off the area to most vehicular traffic from 12:01 September 24th through Friday, September 25th. Local residents, employees, and visitors will be granted limited access. People in the area are encouraged to carpool or take public transportation. The plan was created to keep the interstate ramps free to access into the city in the event of an emergency.
The swine flu is raising health concerns all around the world, and Robert Morris is no exception. Our own Mark Coddington found out more about the preparedness of the university regarding this latest health scare.
H1N1, or the swine flu as it's being called, has gained much attention over the past few months at college campuses across the nation. While a student health service official was unavailable for an on-air interview, the office did share some vital information. H1N1 has similar symptoms to the regular flu, spreads through sharing drinks, not washing hands, and being around infected individuals. Also, there is no vaccine available until mid-October. Senior nursing student Brandy Kenner urged caution when considering getting the vaccine when it becomes available.
I do not believe that you should get the vaccination right now. They're still playing with it. They're unsure of what exactly the virus is. So if you get the vaccination right now, it could mutate and you could still get the swine flu.
While Ms. Kenner remains skeptical over the effectiveness of the vaccine, Dean of Students John Michaelenko has a positive view of RMU's preparedness for the coming flu season.
First of all, there is no flu on this campus. In order to prevent the flu, we want students to just play it safe. Don't share glasses and plates and silverware, and make sure you wash your hands thoroughly several times a day. That's the best way to prevent getting it.
Whatever the flu season has in stores for Robert Morris, the message of being prepared is spreading throughout campus.
All I do know is I need to carry my hand sanitizer around with me so I can wash my hands constantly and just try to stay away from people that are sick.
Reporting on the H1N1 flu virus, Mark Coddington, RMU Live.
Now, we would like to remind everybody that the CDC estimates that 36,000 people die each year of the seasonal flu, which is more than current estimates for that of the swine flu.
Swine flu may be a big concern, but another big concern on campus is, as always, the football team.
Ed, what do you have for us?
Oh, well, Chris, you know, the Colonials are opening up their home play this Saturday against the Dayton Flyers. Dayton topped Robert Morris last year by a score of 31-14. The Colonials are coming off back-to-back road losses at the hands of Virginia Military Institute and Bucknell, and head coach Joe Walton and quarterback Desmond Brentley will look to get the Colonials back on track. I'm going to have more on this later on in sports. Plus, the Penguins are back on the ice, and there's a big upset at the U.S. Open. So back over to you.
The Honor Student Center is now officially open in the Franklin Center. President Del Olmo and Provost Jameson cut the ribbon last Thursday and spoke about the recent growth of the University Honors Program. The new lounge provides the students the opportunity to meet and study with peers, as well as learn about graduate schools, fellowship, internship, and study abroad opportunities.
Coming up after the break, Hollywood mourns another loss with the passing of Patrick Swayze.
And Congress is listening in on links between cancer and cell phone use.
And I'm Channing Frampton, and I'll have your 5-day Frampton forecast coming up, so stay tuned. It's going to be a great forecast coming up.
In case you didn't keep count, those 2 Jell-O shots and 5 beers that I had with Greg really cost me. I mean, my license, $400 in court costs. $350 in other fees. My parents won't let me go on spring break until I pay back all the money that they lent me. Plus, I had to spend a night in jail. I have no car, so my friends have to chauffeur me around everywhere, or else I have to frickin' walk. And I mean, how uncool is that to walk anywhere?
Extreme behaviors have extreme costs.
My name's Lisa, and in 9 years I'll be an alcoholic.
Hi, Lisa.
I'll start drinking in 8th grade, and I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me. Tick, 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 tick. Massive heat waves. Heat waves. Tick. Severe droughts. Tick, 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 tick. Devastating hurricanes. Tick, 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 tick.
Our future is up to you.
Tick.
Go to fightglobalwarming.com while there's still time.
You know, Clarence, you and I should hang out more often. You know, he wears these cheap suits, but they look good on him.
So she says, why lobster?
You never know when a colon polyp is going to show up.
Aunt Ethel, you've been ducking me since '99 at St. Mary's. You
Get
owe
the
me a
polyp
pie.
early and stop colon cancer before it starts.
Do I look fat in this?
Don't wait for symptoms. Get the test. Get the polyp.
They love me. They want me here, don't you? Come on.
Get the cure.
These are my peeps.
Hearings are taking place on Capitol Hill this week on cell phones and a possible link to cancer. So far, there has been no solid connection between cell phones and cancer, but medical experts are testifying at a hearing chaired by Democratic Senator Tom Harkins. The hearings come amid a study that finds high levels of radiation coming from popular phones, including some BlackBerry and Motorola models. Pancreatic cancer has taken the life of actor Patrick Swayze. Swayze had been suffering from the deadly cancer since March 2008. Swayze is a 3-time Golden Globe nominee. He starred in the hit films Dirty Dancing and Ghost. He is survived by his wife Lisa of 34 years.
The Iraqi journalist who threw shoes at then-President George W. Bush has been released from prison. Muntadar al-Zaidi was unapologetic after his release. At a news conference in Baghdad, he told reporters, quote, "I got my chance and I didn't miss it." Al-Zaidi was sentenced to 1 year in jail for the incident last December. He was granted a conditional discharge Tuesday, as Iraqi law allows for the release of a prisoner after he serves 3/4 of his sentence on good behavior. And southern China is getting pounded by Typhoon Kopu. Officials with the local weather bureau say the typhoon, the 15th typhoon of this year, made landfall early Tuesday morning. The storm brought heavy winds and gale force winds to the coastal region. Schools were closed for the day and ferry services in Hong Kong were canceled. And it's that time of the broadcast again, whenever we toss it over to Channing Frampton, and he tells us all about the weather. So, what is the weather going to be like, good sir?
Well, Chris, I'll tell you what, we're not having a typhoon here like they are in Hong Kong. Actually, temperatures and weather conditions are looking really great for this time of year. Let's take a look at it. Temperature, a reading of 78 nice degrees out there here in Moon Township with a dew point of 58. The air temperature is nice and moist. It's not too dry, not too humid. Humidity is running right about 50%, so right about where it should be for this time of year. It's nice and comfortable out there to go out for a run or just hang out outside this evening. Pressure is holding steady at 30.03 inches, and the winds out of the northwest at a mild 6 miles per hour. And then if we take a look at the temperatures around the rest of the region, you can see we have 77 up here in Beaver Falls, 79 in Burgettstown, and then we've got 78 in New Kent and 76 in Katanning. Like I said before, we're holding out at 78 degrees here in Pittsburgh. It's a great weather weekday, and be sure to get out there and enjoy it. Now, around to the rest of the U.S., let's look at the temperatures. 80 degrees in Detroit, 84 in Fort Wayne, 86 the hot spot down in Lexington, Kentucky, and the cool spot of 75 in Erie and 74 in Morgantown. So it's a little chilly up near the lakes or up in the mountains, but around the region, it's pretty nice weather for this time of year. Moving ahead, let's take a look at the surface map. We've got this cold front moving down from Canada over our area, and that's going to bring us some clouds coming into the next couple of days. And we have a low pressure system down here over Louisiana. It's going to move up through the Ohio Valley, which is going to bring us some rain showers later on into this week, but we'll talk about that later on in the forecast. But for right now, let's take a look at the almanac, and you can see that for right now, tonight our forecast looks like this. 56 degrees under partly cloudy skies as that front moves through. It's going to sag through the area, and our almanac for today looks like this. You can see we have a actual high, we got up to 80 degrees today, our low 56, our normals for this time of year 75 and 54 degrees. Now let's move ahead and take a look and see what's coming up for tomorrow. Our high temperature tomorrow, 72 degrees after that cold front moves through. It's going to bring us a little bit cooler temperatures, but nothing but sunny skies for the rest of tomorrow. And for the 5-day forecast, you can see the temperatures are going to be dipping down into the lower 70s for the end of this week, but they should be back up right around 69 degrees on Saturday with lots of sun. Now, there are some things going on in Moon Township that maybe people might be aware of, and that have to do a lot with the National Weather Service. And let's take a look at a short piece about what's going on across the street at the National Weather Service office here in Moon Township.
And wondered what that big white ball is placed above the tree line? With a little investigation, I discovered this was the radar tower for the Pittsburgh National Weather Service. It was here that I caught up with meteorologist Brad Rita to learn how weather balloons are launched twice daily.
This is what we're going to launch the radius on. This is the humidity sensor. It's right in here. This is the temperature sensor. As it ascends, it's tracked by GPS. We have an antenna dish on top of the inflation shelter outside that receives the information. So I'm going to tie off the balloon. As it ascends, it'll go about 1,000 feet per minute. So the pressure on the outside of this balloon is going to decrease, allowing the balloon to expand. And the balloon will expand gradually until it's almost the size of the inside of the shelter. This time of the year it'll get up to about 10 millibars. 90, 100,000 feet, and it will tear.
If you watch closely, you might just see the next one rising above the trees across the street from RMU.
All right, thanks, Channing. Coming up in sports, the Colonial football team prepares for the home opener, and the Penguins are back in action at the Igloo. But you can't wait. You got to go and see these messages first, and then we'll be right back here with sports.
One day, you were simply struggling to be a dad. The next, you're coping with a diagnosis of childhood cancer. CureSearch.org can help. It's run by doctors and scientists whose research has led to an overall cure rate of 78%. You're not as alone as you feel.
In the classroom, I turn my head over this way, and as the gangbanger looking at me, you know, Mad Dog me throwing signs up under the table. I feel real scared for my life.
And during that time, I wouldn't go to school. My mom would tell me, like, what are you doing for yourself? You're not doing nothing. She encouraged me to go back to school.
My neighborhood is a dangerous place. What's pushed me to graduate is my mother, walking down the aisle, hearing her scream for me.
I want to graduate from my mom. She watched the distance yell at me, you got to graduate, you got to get out of high school so you can get your diploma.
And I'm going to make it, and I'm going to be somebody in life.
My pot of gold, your daddy's little girl, till heaven home.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But
But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The Colonial football team fell for the second consecutive week, this time against the Bucknell Bison, as the RMU offense gave up 16 points alone to lose the game 26-23, as it was costly mistakes that lost the game for them yet again. But the Colonials must look ahead to this Saturday and the home opener against Dayton, right here at the Joe Walton Stadium. Kickoff is at noon. And turning now to tennis, Roger Federer has been the dominant player of this generation, especially during majors. But last night at the U.S. Open, he met his match against underdog Juan Martín del Potro. Federer took the first set 6-3 before losing the second set in a tiebreak 7-6. He struck back, though, by winning the third set 6-4, but del Potro won the fourth set in another tiebreak and took the deciding set 6-2 to capture the United States Open Championship. It is the second Slam title that Federer lost in the final this year, as he fell to rival Rafa Nadal in the Australian Open. He followed that up by rattling off a win against Robin Soderling for his first French Open title and won an epic match at Wimbledon against an American, Andy Roddick. And moving now to the ice, the Pittsburgh Penguins return to action tonight against the Columbus Blue Jackets for the first time since that glorious June evening they lifted Lord Stanley's Cup. By winning the championship, the Pens have had a short offseason in which they've lost key defensemen such as Rob Scuderi and Hal Gill, who have left via free agency. But they have replaced them with young blue liner Alex Goligoski and veteran shot blocker Jay McKee. It will be a shortened squad tonight for the preseason opener, with Sidney Crosby skating on a line with Chris Kunitz and Eric Tangrady. Marc-Andre Fleury will be in net, and Evgeny Malkin's going to get the night off. No TV coverage of this game, but you can catch it with Mike Lang and Phil Bork on 105.9 The X. I'm Ed Albert, and that's your Sports Pulse.
We would like to take time now to congratulate two of our fellow RMU students in a big award they received this summer.
RMU producer Chris Walker and photographer Michael Prutzman were awarded a 2009 Communicator Gold Award for excellence for their story, The Dinosaurs. Here's another look at the award-winning piece.
Than 100 years ago, Western Pennsylvanians got their first glimpses of the skeletal remains of ancient animals known as dinosaurs at the Carnegie Museum in Oakland. Now, more than a century later, visitors are being offered the chance to see the ancient beasts as never before with the opening of the brand new exhibition called Dinosaurs in Their Time. The conversion of the former hall into this new world-class display was one that didn't just happen overnight, as museum manager of public relations and communications Ellen James explains.
This exhibit work began in 2005. It was completely finished in June of 2008. So it was a 3-year, $36 million project that really changed the way people see dinosaurs.
Visitors of all ages can enjoy the interactive displays that were added as part of the program, allowing 21st century technology to be applied to the ancient subject matter. But the main attraction for most is the battle shown between two of the greatest predators to ever walk the earth.
What makes our exhibit so interesting, or rather so unique, is the fact that we have two T-Rex skeletons frozen mid-battle as they fight over the carcass of a plant-eating dinosaur. So once again, this is something that you are not going to see. It is absolutely thrilling to see these two behemoths, with their teeth bared and in striking positions, and just to see this moment of these two giants fighting.
Is this a good reason to come?
It's absolutely a great reason to come, and it's right here in our backyard.
Well, from the battle of the T-Rexes to just the exhibits showing how these ancient animals once lived, there's something for everyone here in Oakland, as you can walk through this exhibit, Dinosaurs in Their Time, here at the Carnegie Museum of Natural History. For RMU Live, I'm Chris Walker.
Also winning the Gold Award of Excellence was RMU Radio.
Colonial Sports Center was also awarded a Silver Award of Distinction. And don't forget, you can get caught up with all your Colonial sports news and highlights on Colonial Sports Center every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. with plenty of classic episodes available at colonialsportscenter.com. If that's not enough, you can also listen to Colonial Sports Radio every Friday from 3:30 p.m. to 5 on rmuradio.com. Also be sure to catch Prime Cuts Theater every Friday and Saturday at midnight. Well, that is our show for this evening. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Chris Baginski.
And I'm Casey Folga.